Hi everybody, it's Caroline Cobell with RoamingRV.com, and today I want to talk to you about the fact that we're not going into Mexico this year, which really upsets both of us. But a month ago, I guess, Barry suggested that maybe we should go to Mexico for the winter in our RV, which he shocked me. That was the last thing that I ever expected to hear from him. I've RV'd down there before, but he's never even been to Mexico, let alone taking an RV down there. So I never even hesitated. If he was even thinking about it, I said yes. And we were pretty excited. Our plans were that we would go down we'd leave Canada around the middle of December, arrive maybe at the Nogales entry into Mexico around the 18th or 19th, with the intent we would go down into a campground close to maybe Puerto Vallarta. We would spend Christmas down there and come back around towards the end of March. So everything sounded good. I started doing some research. I sent out some email messages. I started checking forums. And we came across a campground north of Puerto Vallarta called Cruz Maria RV Resort. And it's at Lo de Marcos and about 45 minutes north of Puerto Vallarta. So everything looked great. I did hear from other RV resorts. Some were very helpful, some were very nice. The Cruz Maria was in our budget, plus it had a lot of the amenities that we wanted. So we were pretty excited. We tentatively made a reservation for around the 20th of December. So the next step is to try and arrange or figure out what you need to do to enter into Mexico. And one of the things that you need is a temporary import permit for your vehicle. The other thing is you need Mexican insurance. Our insurance from Canada and the United States is not valid in Mexico. It's not a big deal. You can get insurance online, or you can get it in United States right around Nogales or wherever you're planning on crossing the border. You can usually get insurance right around that area. If you're going to do it online, you maybe plan 2 or 3 days in advance, and they'll ship the documents and everything to you. Not a big deal. However, the temporary import permit is issued by the Mexican government. And up until recently, whether this law has been on the books for a long time or not, or whether it's there's a mixed reviews on how this transpired. But anyway, there is a law that says no 3/4 ton or 1 ton vehicles can get a temporary import permit into Mexico. They consider these vehicles to be commercial, and the largest vehicle you can take in is a 1/2 ton, supposedly. So, and the GVW for your vehicle cannot be over, and I believe it's 7,100 pounds or 7,700. I'm not 100% sure. Of course, we're driving a 3/4 ton, and we're pulling a 32-foot fifth wheel, which is legal in the United States and Canada, but with our 3/4 ton truck, we couldn't take it into Mexico. So we started doing some research and finding out the ins and outs of this temporary permit law. And one of the places that I went to was Mexico Mike. Now, Mexico Mike is an authority on Mexico, driving into Mexico. 20 some odd years ago, I drove into Mexico. I led a group of people all through Mexico for about 3 months, and Mexico Mike's guidebooks were what I used. So when I needed some information and from someone that I actually trusted, I went straight to Mike. And unfortunately, he gave me the bad news that yes, there is a law, and it's being enforced, that you cannot take a vehicle with the GVW over 7,100 pounds into Mexico. You can't get a permit. Now, there's ways and means of getting around this. Some people are applying for them online, and they're getting them, which, you know what, I can probably get one too, but there's no guarantee when we get to the border that they will accept it and let our vehicle across. Nogales seems to be one of the places that they're not encountering problems. So we decided that, okay, we would try it. That we would apply for a permit online just prior to going down and hope for the best, which is great. But then we started doing the research and how much insurance is going to cost. And it looks like for us to get full coverage for our RV to go into Mexico for 4 months, it was going to be around $600. Well, you have to arrange this ahead of time. So if we arranged for our insurance, say spent $600 to get into Mexico, got to the border and were turned away, not only would we lose our reservation at the campground, but we would lose our insurance money as well. It was just too iffy. So we decided not to take a chance and not going to Mexico because of the temporary import permit. It has nothing to do with safety. We weren't concerned about the safety into Mexico. There are people who are applying online, getting their permits with the hope that they probably will get through. And 99% of the people will get through, but we're not prepared to go to the border and get turned down after we've spent all this money for insurance and reservations. Now, Dave Jones at Cruz Maria RV Resort did offer to give us a refund if we got turned down, but we couldn't get a refund on our vehicle insurance. So we're just not in a position, I don't think anybody is, of losing about $600 for insurance that you're not going to use. So that is why we are not going into Mexico this winter and spending Christmas down there. Temporary import permits, check the mexicomike.com driving/driving.htm. He's got all kinds of information on this. If you check the Mexican forums for RVers, it's a big discussion. There's a lot of people that are going ahead with plans. If you've RV'd down into Mexico before and you have copies of all your permits and everything, they may let you through. If you don't have any of that documentation, you might not get through. However, like I said earlier, Nogales may be the easiest place. Part of the problem is if your GVW is written on your vehicle registration. Now, people from Alberta, from what I understand, their registration on their vehicles does not have the GVW on it, so it may not be an issue at the border. Trucks and vehicles from British Columbia have the GVW on there. And of course, ours is in the 9,900 pound range, and it's on there, and we're not going to get accepted. So anyway, that's why our plans for Mexico got squashed. You know what, we're going down to Arizona, and if something happens when we get down there and we find out we might be able to cross and get into Mexico, we might just do it. But right at the moment, it looks like we're spending Christmas or the winter in Arizona. So if you guys are going down to Mexico and you get across and you don't have any problems, I'd love to hear from you and let us know how you did it and what you've encountered. Okay, once again, it's Caroline Quibell. I'm with roamingrv.com, and I hope you find this information helpful. If you do, please make a comment below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.